King Charles VI of France ruled the most prosperous country in Europe. He was deeply in love with his wife, and they had children. His subjects called him Charles the Beloved. However, everything suddenly changed in 1392 when he commissioned a tarot deck from the artist Gringon Nour. In the same year, he launched an attack on his own knights with the cry,
"Go ahead, on the traitors,"
and killed one of them instantly. Following this fit of madness, he was plagued by recurrent bouts of insanity throughout his life. He no longer recognized his wife, treated her and their children harshly. As a result, 4 of his children died in infancy, and the country plunged into a civil war that would last for over 20 years. Whether it was a curse of the tarot, we do not know, but the fate of an entire nation changed dramatically in just 1 year. Greeting Wanderer. Welcome to the world of emperors, kings, and Tsars. Many handmade emperor cards from the 15th century have been preserved. From the Visconti Sforza decks alone, 3 different versions have survived. Interestingly, on the crown of each emperor in these cards, you can see the same eagle that was on the Sforza coat of arms. One of the surviving cards from the same period is part of the so-called Rothschild deck. The deck is named after the family that became synonymous with immense wealth. The banker Edmond de Rothschild personally donated it to the Louvre. Moreover, apart from his own financial empire, Rothschild played a crucial role in establishing an actual state. It was his funds that, in the early 20th century, led to the purchase of nearly 500 square kilometers of land in Palestine. The owner of this land was the Jewish Colonization Association, which later became the foundation for the establishment of the State of Israel. Let's travel back from the 20th century to the 19th. The most scandalous event of that time was the coronation of Emperor Napoleon. On the Emperor Tarot card in Lenormand, Napoleon is depicted in his coronation attire. Napoleon wrested the crown from the hands of Pope Pius VII and crowned himself, emphasizing that by the word emperor, he meant commander, as it was in the Roman Empire, rather than the unpopular term king at that time. When the famous fortune teller Lenormand predicted his defeat in Russia, he expelled her from Paris. However, this didn't save him from his ultimate downfall. This unique deck of playing cards united all the battles of Bonaparte and was released during his lifetime when he fled from Elba and became emperor again. The cards illustrate his troops and those of his enemies. Hearts depict the French, spades show English, Scottish, and Irish troops. The Germans are diamonds and the Russian soldiers are clubs. Many different decks from the 19th century depict the Emperor card. These include the Tarot of Piedmont, Oswald Worth's Tarot, and they bear a resemblance to the earlier decks of the Marseille Tarot. Additionally, this period is when the legend of another emperor, that of the Russian Empire, comes into play. Tsar Alexander I was a highly eccentric sovereign who had a deep interest in esoteric matters. Therefore, when he entered Paris, he couldn't resist meeting the most famous fortune teller of that time. Lenormand predicted that if Alexander abdicated the throne, he would live a long life. But otherwise, the end will be sad.
If Alexander leaves the throne, he will live a long time. If not, he will soon die.
At the age of 47, the emperor passed away in Taganrog. However, there is a theory that his doppelganger died, and Alexander lived in seclusion under the name Fyodor Kuzmich until old age. After his death, hidden notes were discovered, which some believe confirm the legend. Just as many secrets were concealed on the Emperor card by Arthur Edward Waite.
In his right hand, the Emperor holds the Egyptian Ankh cross. Ankh translates from Egyptian as life. The cross is a symbol of life, and the circle is a symbol of eternity, implying that the Emperor is immortal. The scepter without a crown on top signifies that the Emperor's authority is earthly. His knightly armor indicates that at any moment, the Emperor can rise from his throne and embark on a military campaign. The mountain peaks behind the emperor represent heights yet to be reached, but he will conquer them.
The French occultist Papus, in his book, The Divinatory Tarot, refers to this card as deprivation, describing it with words like robbery, theft, and loss. In the cards of his deck, a pharaoh is depicted with an ankh in his hand. Papus, during his lifetime, had personal meetings with emperors, even visiting the Russian Empire 3 times. He met with Nicholas II, known for his mysticism. Moreover, Papus predicted the tragic death of the last emperor of Russia and warned him about the danger of Rasputin. Interestingly, Nicholas II himself appeared on a playing card deck, not in a tarot deck, in the Russian-style deck, published for the 300th anniversary of the Romanov dynasty. Aleister Crowley describes his emperor card as the embodiment of authority.
The main zodiac sign of the card is Aries. 2 rams stand behind the emperor, and a ram's head also adorns the scepter. At the emperor's left foot there is a lamb with a flag, symbolizing how authority works. The wild and independent Aries is transformed into a docile flock of sheep by power. In the emperor's left hand, we see the Maltese cross, initially a symbol of the Knights Hospitaller. Emperor Paul I briefly added the Maltese cross to the Russian coat of arms. The double-headed eagle, always present in the Russian imperial coat of arms, is also featured on the emperor's shield. However, the double-headed eagle is one of the oldest symbols, with its depictions dating back to the Hittite kingdom era, around the 13th century BC. It is also known in Hindu mythology as Gandhabaranda.
The last emperor who managed to astonish the world was Emperor Akihito of Japan. On April 30, 2019, he abdicated the throne after a 30-year reign, even though he was obligated to rule for life. With this my tale comes to an end, wanderer. Although the empire of Tarot's mysteries is nearly boundless, and there is always more to explore.